Lovely jubbly. Sounds like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and we're playing shit. Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope you're all having a fantastic Sunday afternoon. Hope you've all had a great and an amazing weekend. I hope you're looking forward to a brand new week in September 23. First of all, do me a massive favour for me. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit a subscribe button if you're new to the channel. That is United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel and the community if you're new. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button, and always remember to put the notification bell on at all times to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2023 on the channel. United Red Devils 20, including more Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 4 Last Resort, Rocket League Season 12 Porsche, more EA Sports FC 24 content as well, more previews, more reactions, and much more bonus are planned for the last few months in 2023 this year. Good afternoon to all you legends and all you legendary people, and welcome to the first preview of the season for the 2023-2024 Carabao Cup competition season campaign, with defending champions Manchester United hoping to retain their Carabao Cup triumph after winning it last season at Wembley 2-0 against Newcastle United in the final, after ending a 6-year trophy drought at Manchester United Football Club. And we begin our third round campaign at home to Crystal Palace on Tuesday night, on Tuesday the 26th of September 2023 this year. 8 p.m. home evening kickoff at Old Trafford against Crystal Palace Football Club. Realistically, you're looking at Manchester United and you're looking at this season and you're looking at how bad and how 50-50 the season has been so far for Manchester United Football Club as a whole. So far, it's not been the season we all wanted and what we all hoped for. And Manchester United, we all really hoped would have had a better start to their Premier League campaign. And hopefully it's going to start turning things around, especially with the 1-0 away win against Burnley yesterday evening at Turf Moor, thanks to our Magnifico in Bruno Fernandes. You've got to look at this season and you've now got to start being very, very realistic about what Manchester United, in my opinion, can achieve this season under Erik ten Hag. And I think, in my opinion, the way the Premier League has started, 9 points from 18, it's not what Manchester United fans and Manchester United supporters would have been expecting from a Manchester United team so far this season. And hopefully things will start turning around after beating Burnley yesterday. Realistically, in my opinion and in my view, I think Manchester United are now massively, in my opinion, relying on winning the cup competitions this season. So far, I think, in my opinion, and I'm looking at it from a bigger picture and a bigger point of view, I think, in my opinion, Manchester United's realistic trophies this season is to try and maintain and retain the Carabao Cup and win the FA Cup and maybe try and get to the Champions League final. For me, that is the standard I would be expecting for Manchester United to turn the sinking ship around that they are currently at this moment in time for all Manchester United fans and Manchester United supporters. Winning the Carabao Cup last year was a complete miracle. No one expected in Erik ten Hag's first season to win a trophy, get top four, get back into the Champions League and end a 6-year trophy drought. I think realistically United have got to try and retain the Carabao Cup. I think for me, this is our best hope of silverware all season. We went by last season and it was a miracle season. No one expected us to win the Carabao Cup or even get anywhere near the final. And I expected a really tougher final after beating Newcastle United 2-0 in the final last season. I think this is our best chance of a trophy. I don't think at the moment, and I'm looking at it, the way Manchester United are playing in the league, we are way off top four. We are way off Manchester City. We're not winning the league. And I think at the moment, United are going to be lucky to scrape the barrel to try even get into Europe next season. I think United have got to retain the Carabao Cup. This, for me, is our best chance of winning trophy, winning silverware, and getting another trophy in that cabinet. I think Erik ten Hag's trophies and the cup competition records have been very, very good, especially when we won it last year. Last season was a miracle season. We overachieved. Let's not beat around the bush about it. We overachieved massively, and we got to the final, and we luckily won it. It wasn't a convincing final where Manchester United were the better team. I think Newcastle did give Manchester United a game, but the quality did tell in the end that Manchester United got over the line and won the trophy that we needed to win. And then that 6-year trophy drought under the manager and Erik ten Hag. This is our best chance of winning a trophy all season, because the way the season's been, it's not been great. It's not been fantastic. And I think, United now have to be massively reliant on winning in the cups. I think that's United's best chance of anything good or positive happening for the rest of the season. I mean, Crystal Palace, it's not going to be another easy game. It's against another Premier League team, more Premier League opposition, and at least it's at home. I'm glad, in my opinion, it's a home tie instead of away record, because our away record against other clubs has not been that great. I think our home record, we need to start picking that back up again, especially what happened in the home game against Brighton at Old Trafford. It was an absolute humbling, and we got deserved in the end, and we deserved to lose the game. I think Crystal Palace is going to be a tough game. I really, really do think it's going to be a tough game. And so far, Palace have had a very, very comfortable start to their Premier League campaign, and they currently sit inside the top 10. And they obviously drew 0-0 at home to Fulham yesterday on matchday 6 of the 23-24 Premier League season. Obviously, it finished 0-0. So Crystal Palace have actually had a good start. They've not hardly lost any games, and they've picked up 8 points out of 18. It's not brilliant. It's not fantastic, but I wouldn't be sweating on that this is going to be a comfortable home game. Crystal Palace know that Manchester United, there is still a lack of quality, a lack of talent, and enough of quality attacking football that is causing threats to other opposition teams against United this season so far. And Crystal Palace are going to look at Manchester United, and they're going to look at the 6 games, if you conclude it 7, because we played our Champions League group game against Bayern Munich, where we lost 4-3 and got humbly defeated. They're going to look at the 7 games United have played so far. I don't think Crystal Palace are going to come to Old Trafford and fear they're going to get humbled or absolutely destroyed or ripped apart. I think Crystal Palace are going to come to Old Trafford and there's going to be confidence. I mean, Roy Hodgson has done such a good job since he took back the Palace job. And I think, he is comfortably going to keep Crystal Palace up. I think no two ways about it. Crystal Palace will be a Premier League club again next season. Crystal Palace will not struggle to stay up in the Premier League. They will be comfortably finishing mid-table, which they usually do consecutively every season. Roy Hodgson's side have got some players that are going to cause Manchester United some threats. I mean, the threat of Elise, Eze, Edouard. I mean, they've even got ex-United goalkeeper Dean Henderson in goal now. So it's going to be very, very interesting what Crystal Palace team turns up. I don't know if Eze's out injured or Elise's out injured either. I don't know if they've been featuring for Palace in their last game. I don't know if they both played yesterday, but if they both play at Old Trafford on Tuesday night, those 2 players are very, very good, talented footballers. Eze is now in the England squad, and I think Elise is not going to be far off an England call-up either. I think they're probably, in my opinion, Crystal Palace's 2 best players by an absolute mile. And for me, they have got world-class, phenomenal potential to take them up to world-class talent at a bigger club next season once this season ends. And I think if they both have a very good season, they will be attracted by a bigger move to a bigger club next season. And I think they will jump at the chance to do it. And if they play on Tuesday night, I think those 2 are United's biggest threat of keeping a clean sheet. And I think Ten Hag has got to go all out for this now. He's going to look at the Premier League and he's going to look at the position United are in under his management, and he's going to look at it. He knows top 4 is a mile off. He knows the Champions League's not been a great start, and he's going to look at it now, and I think he's going to be blunt. I think he's going to be honest. I think, he has to win a trophy. Otherwise, United are in for a really, really bad season ahead. If we don't win anything this season and it's trophyless season, it's going to be very, very hard to pinpoint what a successful season has been at Manchester United. I think the Carabao Cup's the best hope. If we can win the Carabao Cup and we can scrape top 4 again, I would take that. I mean, it's not fantastic. It's not brilliant. It's not the season we all wanted. But at the end of the day, I think Manchester United have got to take something. Otherwise, I do fear what's going to happen long term. If we're not back in the Champions League next season, it is going to be a long, hard slog again to try and improve the squad in the summer transfer in 2024. But the current squad we've got and the amount of players we've got out, it's going to be very, very tough for United to compete in every competition we're in, because you've got the FA Cup coming up in December into January. You've got the Galatasaray home and away games, the FC Copenhagen games away and at home. You've also got Bayern Munich to play at home in the Champions League as well. I think United are going to really, really struggle to compete with the squad depth we've got. I mean, the amount of injuries is really, really not helping United's cause. It's not helping them one little bit. And you do fear long-term longevity. The more injuries we get, the lack of squad depth we have, the more problems Erik ten Hag is going to face picking a squad or even putting a team out. I think that's the bigger picture, that the injuries we've got is not helping. The amount of problems we have got in that first team isn't helping. I mean, the injuries to Lisandro Martinez, I mean, again, he's been playing through the pain barrier apparently since the Arsenal away game where United got cooked 3-1 on the final score and we lost the away game at the Emirates. If he's been playing through the pain barrier since then surely he should have featured against Burnley yesterday. I mean, if he's been comfortable to play within the pain barrier, I would have just taken some pain relief to get to cope with the pain you're currently feeling in that ankle. But if that ankle is going to keep causing Lisandro Martinez's problems, that ankle injury, that ankle concern he's got, that's got to be questioned next summer, I think. If Lisandro Martinez picks up another really bad ankle injury, and I mean, he's probably, in my opinion, United's best centre-back by an absolute mile. And to have him out injured for the Burnley game yesterday, you do worry how long that injury is going to keep Lisandro Martinez out for. I don't think it's going to help anyone. I really, really do not think that is going to help anyone in that back four to be comfortable as without Lisandro Martinez's quality. But I do question his mentality. If he's been playing through the pain barrier since Arsenal, really, he should have just got on with it and played through the pain barrier yesterday. But maybe the pain in that ankle has got a lot worse and he's unable to move or use his ankle properly in a big competitive game of high-stakes football. And United luckily got across the finish line yesterday, but it wasn't really convincing for Manchester United. And I think we got very, very lucky yesterday to even come away. Oh, excuse me, I'm tired. Be lucky to come away with that game with 3 points. So we really, really need to start getting some of these injured players back in this first team ASAP. If United have got to rush them back into first team football, United have got no choice here. United cannot just sit here and say we can't rush any players back. We've got to keep them fit. We're going to have to give them time to recuperate from their injury problems. I completely disagree. I think it's about time we started being brutally honest with the squad and telling them, we need you back ASAP. We look at the options as your replacements who have got no quality and no convincing of quality in them. How can you trust that Manchester United team to be able to get across the finish line when you've got inferior players with inferior quality to be able to be trusted by Erik ten Hag? I think that's the bigger picture, and I think that's the bigger problem. Erik ten Hag is having to face the injury problems he's got. It's not easy on the manager. It's not his fault. I think United's recruitment, I think United's health department have been an absolute disgrace all summer long. They've had nothing but injury after injury with every player. And we've only just really picked up 2 positives with the return of Rafael Varane from injury and obviously Sofian Amrabat as well, which is another major positive going into Tuesday night. We've still got Ahmad, Tom Heaton, Malacia, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Lisandro Martinez, Sergio Reguilon. We've still got no Anthony. We've still got no Jadon Sancho. So that's 10 players out of a possible starting 11 that Manchester United have got unavailable at their disposal. And we could have done with half that squad being back from injury by now. But I did say this would happen. We've got too many injury-prone players at this football club that long-term are going to cost Manchester United. And I'm not surprised by it. Push come to shove, I was correct. I was right. I said that United's injury problems are going to get worse. And the players that Ten Hag has put his trust in are going to let him down. And push comes to light. Some of those players I mentioned would pick up an injury have picked up injuries and can't be trusted. And Ten Hag has basically been told to get on with it. You're not bringing any backups. You're not bringing any free transfers. I think United seriously have let the manager down badly here. And he's having to deal with a lack of squad depth that he's got unavailable to him. I don't know what Ten Hag's meant to do. I think Ten Hag's probably under a lot of stress, under a lot of pressure, and he's trying to get results on the pitch for Manchester United to keep the fans and supporters off the backs of the manager. But the problem is at Manchester United, at the moment, we have got not really any options but to use the same players we've got available to us at the moment. That's not helpful. It's letting the manager down. And the problem is, I think the team that played against Burnley yesterday evening is probably going to have to go again on Tuesday night. I do not think Erik Ten Hag is going to be able to make a lot of changes because there's a lot of players on that bench he doesn't trust and he will simply not go anywhere near. And I think that showed yesterday that half those bench options he doesn't trust. But some of them are his signings. But the rest of them, players like Pellistri, Gore, Bandia, Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay. I think there's a lot of players at that club that shouldn't even be at Manchester United. And I think as a whole, United are struggling to form a team here or any kind of ambience at this squad. Its morale is positive. The squad morale is happy. I think there's a lack of anything going on inside this team. I think the players we've got, some of them are nowhere near the quality, and Erik Ten Hag is having to use them by no choice of his own because he's got too many players out injured. And Ten Hag is facing the consequences of that. He knows Scott McTominay isn't good enough. He knows Harry Maguire isn't good enough. He knows Martial isn't good enough. He knows Dan Gore isn't good enough. He knows Pellistri ain't good enough. Even Hannibal, to an extent, is nowhere near good enough. And I think that United have got to change that team up yesterday. I think playing that four-man midfield away to Burnley yesterday, it didn't work. United were getting outrun, outplayed, outfought, and we were losing the ball on way too many occasions. We kept losing possession, and Burnley were absolutely frightening the shit out of Man United. And I think Palace will sense that vulnerability. They're going to look at that Burnley performance and they're going to look at it as a whole and they're going to look at how Burnley played. And Palace aren't going to fear Manchester United. Palace have come here with nothing to lose. But I think Manchester United will get over the line but we cannot be scraping with the barrel with 1-0 lucky wins. 1-0 home wins and 1-0 away wins is not going to please the fan base. It's not going to please the supporters. United need to be a bit more convincing on and off the ball. And I think that has to be shown from Tuesday. Otherwise, the football, for me, is going to get worse. The quality is going to get worse. And I don't think United are going to have a very good season. So far, it's been a very, very shit season. I can't believe I'm having to say already, 7 games into the season, I'm saying United are relying on the cup competitions again just to have a successful season. And I think for me, as a whole, United need to be aiming and trying to achieve a little bit better than aiming for the cup competitions, than the Premier League title race, which we're not going to compete. Champions League, we're going to be lucky to compete. I think Manchester United, this needs to be a miracle season again. We need to have a massive overachieving season again, but I don't think, in my opinion, Ten Hag's going to be able to do it. I see a lack of energy in that team. I see a lack of charisma, a lack of talent, a lack of quality. I don't see any passion. I don't see any heart. I don't see any desire. I don't see Manchester United improving. I think it's only going to get worse before it gets any better. And I wouldn't be surprised in the future that Manchester United end up struggling to be able to attract the best players again. That's not Manchester United's fault. It's down to the board. It's down to the owners that are letting this manager basically hung out to dry, fed to the walls and thrown under the bus. And the Glazers and the owners are to blame for the performances on the pitch. People say it's down to Ten Hag to get the players playing and the players motivated and to get the players up for a game to win the match. But at the end of the day, what is Ten Hag meant to do with basically 10 first-teamers out, a squad that has got no quality and too many deadwood players are still at this football club? And, that team will probably... We know which players are causing the problems. We know the leaks in the dressing room. Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Jadon Sancho. There are too many players in that United team that are leaking stuff to the press again. because they're on board and they're on the payroll with the football club, and the press have their favourite players at United that they can get information out of. And that's causing problems behind the scenes. And Ten Hag is facing the dilemma of having to call out players, which he's got every right to bloody do. People tell me that, the way Ten Hag has dealt with the Jadon Sancho situation, it's been disrespectful. It's been unfair. It's been really, really I completely disagree. Jadon Sancho has thrown his toys out the pram. He's got an attitude of a 5-year-old kid, and he's acted like a right baby, throwing his toys out the pram that Jadon Sancho thinks he's better than the football club, he's better than any other players, and he's better than the manager, and he makes the decisions. Jadon Sancho has got no right doing what he's doing. His attitude stinks. This is why he's not training with United first team. And the only way Jadon Sancho comes back into this team or even features on Tuesday night is that he puts out a public apology to the manager, the players, the fans, and the supporters. Jadon Sancho has got no right doing what he's doing. And we could have done with him available for Tuesday night. But if Jadon Sancho's going to sit there and fold his arms up and basically just sit there and do fuck all in his career, that is going to spiral down because of his attitude and a lack of commitment at Manchester United, then I'm sorry, Jadon Sancho needs to be removed from the team permanently in January, and we sell him and we bloody replace him. United can make some money from Jadon Sancho. We need to sell him, go and buy a replacement. It's not rocket science, Manchester United. It's pretty simple mathematics. 1 + 1 = 2. You sell Sancho, you buy a replacement, that equals the 2. You can sort the Jadon Sancho situation very, very quickly. But Manchester United like to do it in a way that, they don't want their information being leaked that they're going to sell him, and they want big, big money for him. They're not going to get big money for him because Jadon Sancho has been probably the biggest flop in Manchester United's career, along with Wout Weghorst. So United have got to really sort that situation out. And we could have done with Jadon Sancho, because that right wing at the moment, you are looking at that right wing. Where is the quality? Pellistri, there is so much hype and so much positivity around Pellistri, and that some Man United fans and some Man United supporters, and they know who they are, absolutely rate Pellistri to up there with Messi and Ronaldo's quality. I mean, I see some of the comparisons people are making with Pellistri to greats of the game in Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Pellistri is absolutely bang average. He's not any good with the ball or off the ball. He doesn't track back, doesn't run back, loses the ball on too many times, concedes possession to the opposition, and then the opposition then counter-attack and run at the United back four, run through the midfield, put the ball in the back of the Old Trafford net. Pellistri isn't the answer, and that is why he was dropped yesterday, because Pellistri's crap. And people think, he should be starting Tuesday. No, thank you. Not at all should Jadon and Pellistri be starting Tuesday. I do not know Pellistri Tuesday. Pellistri will not be starting for Manchester United Tuesday night. He's no good. He's not going to offer United quality for the future. I think people need to calm down on the Pellistri hype train, because he's not going to add anything to this Man United team that is going to convince me that he's the future and he's the answer to the problems on the right wing at the moment. Jadon Sancho is better than Pellistri. Anthony is better than Pellistri. Garnacho is better than Pellistri. Rashford is better than Pellistri. Ahmad is better than Pellistri. Højlund is better than Pellistri. There are too many players at Man United that they're willing to give new contracts to, and Pellistri is one of them. Pellistri does not deserve a new contract. I'm sorry, not a chance. He's no good and will not be the answer for United's problems. And people, I respect your views. I respect your opinions that you think Pellistri is good, but so far, what I've seen with Pellistri so far this season has been a bang average footballer at a football club that has got no clue how to deal with young players at a young age and how to develop their game. And Pellistri will not develop his game at Manchester United. So the hype train for Pellistri really needs to stop, because for me, I wouldn't play him Tuesday. I would really, really like to see him put on the bench where I think Pellistri belongs. I don't know why Man United can't sell Pellistri. I don't know why we can't just loan him, because he's not the answers to United's problems. And if people think he's the answers, I would say wake up and have a hard, long look in the mirror if you're a United fan and thinking Pellistri's great, because he's not. Pellistri is not a great player. I'm sorry. He's not a great player and will never be a great player. I'm sorry. He's bang average at best. and he is not the answer to United problems. And if people want to think he's the answer, that's absolutely fine. I completely respect your views and opinions, but I don't think Palestra should be anywhere near that United team come Tuesday night against Palace in the Carabao Cup. So I think, with the team we've got available, we all know what players are going to be out. Mason Mount, Tom Heaton, Ahmad, Luke Shaw, Malacia, Harry Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We've got no Sandra Martinez, no Reguilon. We've got no Jadon Sancho, and we've got no Anthony. So that team on Tuesday night, I think United fans know exactly who the team will be, and I think they know exactly which players will be starting Tuesday night. And I think if we're going to be really blunt and we're going to be really honest, even I know what team will be playing Tuesday night, but I would be changing that team up. I think that team has got to change from the team it was yesterday. I think, it has to be Onana in goal. There's no way Ten Hag should be risking Bandia in goal on a big cup competition debut, which United need to try and defend with all their might and win again. I think the back four, it probably picks itself. It probably will be Diego Dalot, Victor Lindelof, Johnny Evans. If Sergio Reguilon, which looks like he has done his hamstring, which tweaked yesterday, which he had to be substituted for, and apparently even before the game, Sergio Reguilon was feeling very, very unwell, according to Eric Ten Hag. We need Reguilon Tuesday night. I think you're going to have to tell him, look, we've got no options at left back, Sergio. We haven't got Shaw. We ain't got Malacia. I know you tweaked your hamstring, but you're going to have to try and get that settled before we kick off Tuesday night, because the United players are going to have to be in training today as well as Monday ahead of the game for Tuesday. And they know that the players unavailable, if Sergio Reguilon ain't fit for Tuesday, we've basically lost our best left back this club's ever had, because I think Reguilon has achieved way more in his career than what Luke Shaw and Malacia have ever done in theirs. I think the quality of performances that Sergio Reguilon is putting into a Manchester United shirt is absolutely phenomenal. I think Sergio Reguilon is a phenomenal, world-class, talented left-back who's got the potential to take his game up to the next level. And even Ten Hag's come out today, according to Fabrizio Romano, that Eric Ten Hag is absolutely thrilled and pleased with the performances Sergio Reguilon is putting into a Manchester United shirt, and there's even consideration to make the deal permanent in January. I think United can have no choice but to do that, because it looks like Luke Shaw is going to be out for a further 2 months, and it looks like he ain't going to be back till November. So it looks like Sergio Reguilon is going to be playing a lot of first-team football because of the injuries to Luke Shaw and Malacia. But if the hamstring injury Reguilon is bad, then United are up between a rock and a hard place, because we haven't got any other left-backs. I mean, do we switch Lindelof there? Do we put Diego Dalot there? Time will tell what happens at left back, but if you're thinking about it, if Reguilon's out and you've got no Shaw or Malacia, I don't know where Manchester United turn to. I really, really struggle to find any enthusiasm, any positivity. I really, really struggle to find how Manchester United are going to be able to fulfil the left back position. And do United need to enter the market again? I mean, if you've lost Reguilon and you've lost Shaw and Malacia, do United have to dip back into the transfer market and look at a free transfer on a left back? I mean, there are left backs out there, but I don't think United will do it. And I think they will try and push Reguilon to be fit Tuesday. And if he ain't in the team, then you've really got to start to question that back four is going to look really, really vulnerable. I mean, Diego Dalot ain't any good, and there was Manchester United hyping up Diego Dalot's performance yesterday, as well as Victor Lindelof. I thought they were both crap. I thought they were both very, very poor in all 90 minutes, and both of them did play full 90 minutes, which was absolutely ludicrous. I cannot believe the hype train that United got on with Diego Dalot. I was very, very surprised at the hype train that Man United hyped how great Diego Dalot was, and I thought, bloody hell, we're hyping up players that aren't really any good. And it's like, I do question Manchester United what we're trying to do. Like, Diego Dalot was crap, and you're hyping up thinking he had a solid performance at right back. I'm sorry, Diego Dalot's crap. And you wonder why the United fans say the right-back position is a bloody concern. Well, it is. I personally, if I was picking the team, I wouldn't be picking Dalot. I wouldn't be picking fucking Victor Lindelof. They are both neither any good. And people wonder why we concede so many goals. Well, you look at that back four. Johnny Evans doesn't give you confidence. Victor Lindelof doesn't give you any confidence. Johnny Evans doesn't give you any confidence. You do question what Man United are meant to try and do. What are we trying to achieve? I think we're basically trying to get by again. I really, really think we are trying to get by with what we've got. That isn't good enough. United should be acting like a fucking football club. We're acting like a small little mid-table team. I don't think that's acceptable. I think United need to be aiming higher and better. But if United don't want to do it, then that's their own downfall. But you look at the options. If, God forbid, Reguilón's out, I think the only option you've got, you switch. But the problem is then, you've got no Harry Maguire and no Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So if you put Victor Lindelof at left back or you put Dalot there, who the fuck's playing at right back then? I mean, do they put McTominay in the back four? I mean, McTominay isn't any good either. And yet again, at putting another dire shit performance yesterday. I mean, how bad Scott McTominay was. I mean, fuck me. I thought, Fred was bad. I thought Fred was bad. And it's McTominay is a big problem in that United team. He is a very, very big problem. I think that's my concern. That is my concern here. That United are trying to get by again. And I don't think it's acceptable. United should not be getting by with what they've got. United should be aiming bigger and better. But I hope Reguilón's fit. And I really, really hope he's fit. Because without Reguilón at left back, United are struggling for quality. So the back four, it is probably, Reguilón's probably going to be fit at a push. But United are probably going to have to risk it. And if he does his hamstring again, that's Reguilón who's going to have to go back to Spurs for treatment and then get sent back to United again. So at the end of the day, United can huff and puff all they want and before the house blows down. But the house has already blown down with the injuries we've got. I mean, will Martinez come back in? That's a question you have to ask. Will Lisandro Martinez be fit for Tuesday? Will he come back in? He's going to have to hope he does because otherwise we ain't got our main centre-back either. And that ain't acceptable at Manchester United. And I don't want Man United just to get by and let the manager down. But the whole back four's a mess. And I mean, I think we also need to talk about the midfield and the front three. I think that's the back four discussed. And I think, the midfield three now, you look at that midfield four yesterday, it was getting absolutely run over. I mean, how bad was that midfield yesterday? Hannibal Mabry is atrocious. Scott McTominay is even worse. I don't know in my opinion, what did Christian Eriksen do wrong not to start that game against Burnley yesterday? What did he do wrong? I know he gave the penalty away against Bayern Munich in the Champions League group stage on match day 1. But Christian Eriksen is 10 times the player Hannibal Mabry is and Scott McTominay is, and Eriksen has achieved a lot more than those two have done ever since they've been at United. And United are basically stuck using McTominay and Hannibal Mabry that apparently Hannibal Mabry and Scott McTominay apparently offer excitement and enthusiasm on the ball. Hannibal Mabry is young and he's inexperienced, and United are trying to put him in the first team thinking he's a world-class phenomenal midfielder that is going to offer excitement and enthusiasm on and off the ball, and they think he can offer some. He's going to be special. I don't see that. I'm sorry, but let's be realistic here. We're all human after all, just like the Rag and Bowman song. We are all human after all. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, but Hannibal Mabry is an issue, and so is Scott McTominay. Neither of them should be starting a competitive game for United. They are both not good enough. They should not be in that team Tuesday, and if they're both starting Tuesday, God help us, because that midfield is going to get ran over all over again. I would have rather have Fred back than have McTominay or Hannibal Mabry anywhere near that starting lineup. If Hannibal Mabry and Scott McTominay are still here in January, God help us, because they are offering nothing going forward that is going to convince me both of them are the right midfield options. That midfield needs to be on Tuesday. Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Sofian Amrabat, and Christian Eriksen. I do not mind those four being the four midfield options going forward. That midfield is a lot more secure without Mason Mount in it, without Hannibal Mabry in it, without Scott McTominay in it. Those four are the right four midfield options that United need to go with long bloody term. No Mount, no Hannibal Mabry, and no Scott McTominay. They are not the answer that is going to secure Man United quality in the midfield selection. Those four are 10 times better than all three of them. Sofian Amrabat, why he only got 5 minutes yesterday was a complete joke. Sofian Amrabat should have come onto that pitch in the second half. Why we only gave him 5 minutes was a disgrace, especially how long he had to wait to be given a chance to sign for the club in the summer transfer window, which United had to do on deadline day. I mean, that's embarrassing enough, having to make Sofian Amrabat wait all summer long till deadline day to get the dream move to Manchester United. Amrabat is better than McTominay, he's better than Mason Mount, and he's better than Hannibal Mabry. And I'm sorry, he's got to come into the team. You put him next to Casemiro, that midfield will be absolutely fine and secured Tuesday night. Palace will not know how to deal or break down those two. Those two sat next to each other, that whole back four is secured, because they will shut down and work tirelessly on and off the ball to keep that ball out the back of the net, and they'll keep that midfield battle being won. And if you've got Fernandes and you've got Eriksen in front of them, we all know that midfield situation is complete, because that four are a four secure midfield targets. That is the secure midfield United need. And they will play better football. The football will be a lot more attacking and will move the ball more forward quicker with those four in it. But I don't think Amrabat will start, and I do not think Eriksen will start. I think Ten Hag will go with the same team. I think we will see Hannibal Mabry. I think we will see Scott McTominay. But why are we seeing them? The only reason Scott McTominay is starting is apparently, look how great he's been on the international break. Look how well he's done for Scotland. Look how well he's scoring goals for his country. Yeah, the only reason Scott McTominay gets in that Scottish national team is because everyone thinks he's up there with John McGinn. And no disrespect, Scotland's two best players in that international lineup is John McGinn and Scott McTominay. The rest of them are bang average championship players at best. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I don't rate Andy Robertson at left back for Scotland. I think he's bang average. So that's the only reason why Scott McTominay is in the Scotland team and playing in United's first team. That's the only reason. So they should not be, Scott McTominay not be starting Tuesday. God forbid if he does. Then we move on to the attacking front three. Now, for me, I would be changing the formation. I would switch back to the normal 4-3-3 traditional. 3 in the midfield, 4 at the back and 3 up front. Because it didn't work yesterday. Rasmus Højlund and Marcus Rashford, I mean, Marcus Rashford's career so far has been an absolute car crash, pardon the pun. After what happened to Rashford this morning when he's gone and crashed his £350,000 Lamborghini and he's absolutely written his car off, and he's luckily come away unscathed and uninjured, thank God, because that could have turned ugly and bad. Rashford crashed his car. Luckily, he's come away unscathed and unhurt. Lucky that happened. But Rashford and Rasmus Højlund up front, it doesn't work. I'm sorry. The lack of service, both to those two up front, is unbelievable. The lack of service is dreadful. And it showed yesterday at several big phases of the Burnley game. The lack of service to those front two is dreadful. We've got no left winger and we've got no right winger. How are we meant to put crosses into the box for our two main strikers up front? How are we trying to get them both goals if we've got no service being deployed from the left or the right? I'm sorry, make that make any bloody sense. If United want to carry on and keep doing that, Be my guest. Deploy the lack of service. But if you want Rashford to start scoring some goals and you want Rasmus Højlund banging them in consecutively, then I'm sorry, we need to start deploying the wingers back into our game. But the big problem is, at Manchester United, we have got no Sancho and no Anthony. Anthony on that right wing is an absolute miss. We could have done with having Anthony available at Manchester United, but because he's under investigation for some severe allegations against him, he's on an absence of leave still, and we, God knows forbid, well, how long Anthony's going to be out for, but we need him back. And is he even training? I mean, that's a big point. Is Anthony even training while he's still under investigation? So he's probably not even keeping his fitness up. So he's going to come back and probably get badly injured. We ain't got no Jadon Sancho because he's been suspended from Man United's first team. So that's two of your main wingers out of the game. You're then stuck with an injury-prone Martial, an inconsistent Marcus Rashford, an inexperienced Rasmus Højlund, and Garnacho. So I'm sorry, I'm not counting Pellistri. He ain't good enough. I would seriously change that front three. I would really, really change it on Tuesday. I would deploy Garnacho on the right, but the problem is he's not a right winger. He's not a right winger, he's a left winger. And you can't deploy him up front. Ten Hag is going to have to go strong because he's relying on cup competitions again to get United out of jail. That should be happening at a club like Manchester United. You should be aiming for the best. You should be aiming for the greatest. You should be aiming for trophies every fucking season. But with no options available up front, and you're stuck with Rashford and Højlund, what are you meant to do with the rest of the squad? You're not using Pellistri. He's never going to be good enough. I'm sorry. Hype Pellistri up as much as you want. He's never going to be good enough. And people can think he's great. I'm sorry. No. Sorry. No. I think Garnacho has got to come into that team Tuesday. He offers excitement. He offers skill. He offers passion. And he takes on players. Something Pellistri and Martial do not do. So I think the front three. But if we play four midfielders, we're not playing the front three because that's a player more. So it's going to be interesting what the lineup's going to be, because if we only go with Rashford and Højlund, we are not scoring a lot of goals Tuesday, because the midfield, we don't really need to be using four midfielders. We should be only using three. But if Ten Hag wants to go with the four midfield option, then that's fine. I respect the manager's decisions, and I respect the manager's team selection, and I respect the players he puts on the bench. But I think with basically 11 first teamers out injured, he's going to find it very tough to pick a team. I think the sooner the better we get half those players back, the sooner results will improve. But United are going to find this very tough to come out of this. But I'm hoping we can win the Carabao Cup and maybe win the FA Cup. But that is on hope. That is on pure and utter hope that United are going to turn this around. Because if they don't turn this around, it is going to be a long, hard season. And if we don't defend the Carabao Cup, then, which I call the Mickey Mouse Cup, because anybody could win that trophy. It's not really that hard to win. It's going to be a long season. I want to see United lift some silverware, but it's going to be tough to say where United's season is going to go, because if they don't pick up results and it's a bad season, then God forbid, I think I know what's going to happen and Ten Hag's going to be gone. But I'm more hopeful now after what I saw yesterday, but only just. But if the United play the way they did in that first half and in the last 10 minutes of the second half against Burnley yesterday evening, it is going to be a tough game Tuesday night. And Palace have got some danger men in that team. I mean, it doesn't even feel like they lost Wilfried Zaha. Zaha's no longer at Palace, he's at Galatasaray now. But they've still got quality. Elise, Eze, Edouard, Dean Henderson. There are some good players in that Palace team that offer several different threats. And they're going to come to Old Trafford with nothing to fear and nothing to lose. And they're going to give United a game. We need to go on a long winning run now. That's the only way United turn the season around. Obviously, we beat Burnley yesterday. Was a positive. We got the 3 points. We got the win and got the result. But if we got the Carabao Cup, it's not really a loss, but it's like we can't even defend it. But let's see what happens. I'm going to go for a 3-0 Manchester United win. I think that's what the scoreline will be. And hopefully it will be a great game Tuesday night, and United will get through to the fourth round of the 2023-2024 Carabao Cup. So I hope you enjoyed the preview. Hit the like button, the share button. Please keep subscribing to the channel and the community on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button and hit the retweet button. And remember to put the notification bell on at all times so you receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of this year in 2023 in the last few months on United Red Devils 20. We've got more Fortnite, Chapter 4, Season 4, Last Resort, Rocket League Season 12, Porsche. We've got EA Sports FC 24 content coming up at midnight today, hours of Monday morning, so look out for that. More previews, more match reactions, and then please join me for the reaction Tuesday night, which hopefully is a Manchester United win. Hopefully we get through to the next round of the Carabao Cup, and hopefully we won't go out of the only trophy we won last season. But I'm not holding my breath because you're not Manchester United at times. They're very inconsistent and very vulnerable. Let's see what happens. So I'll speak to you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Stay safe, be nice, be kind to each other. You're all legends. You're all legendary. Thanks for watching. Peace.